Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Could be fireworks today. Andy's got the rundown.
Sam, it's called the hottest state Senate race in the state. Today we talked to Senator Rawson, who's running for re-election, and his challenger, Bob Beers. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit Pound today, Ray Hagar, Keith Lee, and Joe Brezny. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Join us for the uncorking of the third Reno Tahoe Wine, Food, and Jazz Festival, April 30th through May 2nd at the Reno Hilton. Sample wines, cooking demonstrations, live jazz, and purchase fine art at festival days. Try dishes from the Reno Hilton's finest restaurants and taste wines from over a dozen wineries at the Grand Tasting. And at the exclusive Winemakers Reception and Art Auction, meet winemakers from Cakebread Cellars, Sequoia Grove, Benziger, and others. A fine wine festival that won't need to age to perfection. April 30th through May 2nd, only at the Reno Hilton.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's Client Vendor Screening Program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers Broadcast Center, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by State Senator Ray Rawson, who's up for re-election this year. Pleasure to have you here, Ray. Thanks for coming up.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here.
You bet.
In a story Erin Neff broke in the Review-Journal, she said that your assistant at the community college where you teach served as your legislative committee secretary in an arrangement that basically paid her double the position's salary because she was being paid $32.76 an hour, and the legislature reimbursed the college for her salary at the rate of only $16.12. What gives here?
Well, you know, it's not accurate, first of all. The legislative staff are paid for 7 days a week, and they pay them at a lower rate, but they pay them for 7 days a week. And that's whether they work 7 days a week or not, because later in the session they work around the clock, and that avoids overtime and those kinds of employee disputes. So you can't go with a straight hour for hour, because the legislative salary is really based on a different set of standards altogether. When it comes right down to it, the college was reimbursed 3/4, 80%, something like that. But she also carried on her duties for the college, and she was there on weekends. She actually spent a week there where she took leave from the legislature to straighten out computer problems. So, like most stories, they were quick to rush to judgment, and all of the facts weren't in.
Senator, but isn't that in a way trying to serve two masters, and can't that be a conflict?
Well, certainly it could be a conflict, but let's look at what was really going on. I mean, we have a highly qualified person who can't simply leave a responsibility because that responsibility goes on. And so they have to maintain that. I had to maintain it during the session. I wasn't paid for it, but I had to, there are still issues that come up, and so you have to deal with them. And she went with the understanding that she would be back to do some things that had to be done. Some letters that had to be written, some scheduling that had to take place, some computer situations. That
Senator, other secretaries that are hired at the legislature are not allowed to take another job.
Oh.
I mean, when they're hired, they're told, this is it, you're on call 7 days a week,
Yes.
24 hours a day, you can't work for anyone else.
No, I understand that. And whether she had another job or not, there was still responsibility that she had to care for. And other people that travel to take those legislative positions don't give up their lives. They still have to maintain the things that are going on in their lives. And I think we need to recognize that. I mean, we have people that transfer in from the Attorney General's office, from other agencies. They work at the legislature. They go back to their jobs with their full seniority, with their full benefits. And they're not just absent without leave during all of that time. They keep tuned to what's going on in their offices.
Well, I worked at a state agency where that was a problem, actually, and the agency was not happy about having to send somebody over to the legislature to work. Certainly where unemployment is low, there's a lot of people they could hire. But let me move on to a different subject, if we could.
Okay, if I can just jump in here. You know, when the Attorney General issued his opinion about public employees serving at the legislature, you chose to resign. You were the only member that was affected that chose to resign. Why did you do that, and do you at this point regret that?
No, not at all. I'm a committee chair, and I call for the Attorney General to give me opinions occasionally. I can't just accept those when I want them or when they suit me. And so when he came down with an opinion, I accept that as a rule of law and abided by it. So as soon as there was a new Attorney General's opinion that went against my employment, I had to change my employment.
What do you think then about the other 5 legislators that are affected, that they haven't stepped down?
You know, I think each person has to make that decision for themselves, and I think it's courageous for those who want to fight this, because ultimately there will be a rule of law that comes out of this. There will be a decision, and I think that'll be good for the state to know unequivocally, once and for all, you know, how is it?
Senator, as you walk your district right now for re-election, what are you hearing from your constituents?
It's interesting. They're very supportive of the education moves that we've made. They think that there needs to be more for education. I've run into some concern about the taxes, but not as much as I've really read in the press when I'm out there on the street. Yes, people are concerned about it, but they understand what we've done.
As chairman of Human Resources in the Senate, you get the education bills come before you, as well as the health care. Do you also get the higher education bills?
No.
Those go to Government Affairs, correct?
Or to Finance Committee. And
which you sit on.
Yes.
How do you feel about the Board of Regents at this point?
Well, the Board of Regents haven't always distinguished themselves, but we have some very...
That's a nice understatement.
Sorry, we don't need to start laughing here.
We have some very capable people there, and I think they're conscientious. They do tend to micromanage, and I think that causes them problems from time to time. But I think they're well-meaning. They have a serious responsibility. I think they're trying hard.
There's a bill.
Andy, I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Oh.
We'd love to have you back here.
Yes,
we appreciate you coming on the program. Come back anytime, Senator Ray Rawson.
Thank you.
We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers with Bob Beers, his opponent, coming up right after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Bob Beers. He's an assemblyman, and he's going to be running against Ray Rawson for the Senate seat in this upcoming election. And he was also, we should point out, one of the 15 members of the Assembly that stood firm on not wanting to raise your taxes.
Or your spending.
And welcome back. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Bob, what is it you can offer the people in Senator Rawson's district that he can't?
Fiscal responsibility. That's the underlying theme of my campaign, certainly. As you just alluded to, we just increased our taxing and spending 33% in a 2-year period where our population growth and inflation is expected to be 11%. Senator Rawson was the vice chair of the Senate Finance Committee and in large part crafted that spending plan. When it came time to vote for funding it, they brought 6 different tax bills to an actual vote in the Senate, different combinations of taxes. Most Republican senators voted against at least one. He's one of just a handful who voted for all 6.
All right, during the session there was a lot of talk because you said you knew where you would make cuts and everybody was pestering you for a list that they couldn't get from you. Where would you cut?
Well, and let's point out that at this point we are facing, if I'm not mistaken, according to everybody else we've had on the program, at least a $100 million shortfall in the next, coming up in the next
Maybe.
session.
$100 million shortfall? Well, it depends on how you calculate it. We increased our TANF funding 48%. TANF is temporary assistance for needy families, cash assistance to people who want it. And while we increased that 48%, we didn't increase the benefit. You might be wondering, how in the world did we manage that?
How in the world did you manage that?
What we did was increase the caseload projection. And we did so off of the curve between September 11th, 01 and August of 2002, when that curve peaked. In fact, we projected it to continue rising from that point, and it went down. In fact, at the time we finalized the budget, it was down 20%. It's now down over 30%. That's money presumably we won't spend because those people aren't there asking for the benefit. The other piece of that spending was 140 caseworkers to deal with the increased caseload. I don't know if we'll hire the caseload because if we'll hire the caseworkers because the caseload has not materialized. So there's a big piece of money that is in fact a surplus. As well, the take from our existing old tax structure is going to perhaps approach $100 million. We don't know for sure yet how big it's going to be over the 2 years, but so far it seems to be very substantial. We were going to be getting $410 million new dollars From the built-in growth factor in our existing tax structure, it may reach $500 million before the biennium is through.
How do you feel about public employees serving in the legislature?
Well, I'm married to one, not one who serves in the legislature, so it's not like I hate them all. I do think that the fundamental doctrine of the separation of powers makes a tremendous amount of sense. I'm not swayed by the argument that, well, you have to let this fireman have an opportunity to serve, because in fact what that guy or woman does for the full rest of the 2-year cycle is serve the public. That is the definition of being a government employee, is that you're serving the public. I believe that you can correlate a change in philosophy from the way Nevada has been run for many years to specific additions of public employees to the legislature.
Okay, so you respect Senator Rawson for stepping down from his job to stay at the legislature?
It was the right thing to do.
But you, in fact, have advocated higher salaries for legislators, haven't you? In the last session, didn't you make a motion to?
We had a bill that had gone through the anonymization process of 2 different committees, and it came to Ways and Means. It sought to create a appointed commission to set legislative salaries. In every state where that has happened, it's resulted in rapidly escalating legislative salaries. I succeeded in amending that bill in Ways and Means to do away with the commission altogether and give legislators a 15% increase in salary, which would have gone from, I don't know the numbers, it would have been $1,000 or so per 2 years.
$1,200.
And it had been 20 years or more since we'd had a raise, so 15% seemed appropriate. And the important part is that we, in doing so, we shut off the endless fountain of increasing costs.
But it failed, and there is no pay raise for legislators.
It failed, and there is no pay raise for legislators.
Okay, don't we at some point have to do something about this? Isn't it just ridiculous, the amount of money? I mean, it's a charity case.
It is public service, and it's almost purest sense. You can probably make the argument your school board members and university regents are purer because they don't get any compensation at all.
See, you get what you pay for sometimes.
But yeah, it's something that we need to address. The wage is not what it was when it was set out. We actually get paid this for 60 days work, which is a reasonable wage even today. The problem is that the 60 days, at one point extended on to 160 and is now back down by citizen fiat to 120.
Without special sessions?
Without special sessions. Special sessions? Yeah.
Okay, the governor was on here yesterday. He was talking about tax collections, and he was saying that the sales tax is doing well, but that the gaming tax is not doing as well. Your thoughts?
It is not increasing as fast as we had thought it would increase. Sales tax is increasing faster than we thought it would increase. They're all increasing.
Except for the live entertainment, which there was no history on. And smoking, you don't want them to smoke, you just want them to buy cigarettes.
Right.
Okay, and we are out of time. Bob Beers, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure we'll see you again before this election is up. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with the Pundits after this.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
Join us for the uncorking of the third Reno Tahoe Wine, Food, and Jazz Festival, April 30th through May 2nd at the Reno Hilton. Sample wines, cooking demonstrations, live jazz, and purchase fine art at festival days. Try dishes from the Reno Hilton's finest restaurants and taste wines from over a dozen wineries at the Grand Tasting. And at the exclusive Winemakers Reception and Art Auction, meet winemakers from Cakebread Cellars, Sequoia Grove, Benziger, and others. A fine wine festival that won't need to age to perfection. April 30th through May 2nd only at the Reno Hilton.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
We extend sympathies to Senator Ann O'Connell on the death of her husband, Bob, following surgery. Sam?
Okay, thanks, Andy. I want to introduce our pundit panel to you today, and it's a terrific pundit panel. We welcome back Joe Brezny. He's the executive director of the Senate Republican Caucus. Ray Hagar, reporter for the Reno Gazette-Journal, and Keith Lee, an attorney.
Nice to be here, as always.
Pleasure to be here. Joe, let's get your response to the Rawson Beers interview.
Disclose first.
Full disclosure, I'm executive director of the caucus, so it is my job to work with our sitting senators, so I'm on Senator Rawson's side. However, earlier in the session, Andy hit me with a question: do you think it was idiotic that Ron Kinect sponsored the East California bill? And even though he was a Republican and is a Republican and it was my job to defend Republicans, I said, yep, it was idiotic. So I'm calling a spade. Did it then, I'll do it now. This show proves once again that Bob Beers has proven himself to be a liar who will say and do anything to get elected. Now let me back that up. It's a strong statement, and let me back it up. He is campaigning, he's a one-trick pony who's campaigning on fiscal responsibility because the budget increased by 33%. Well, guess what, folks? He voted for it. He voted for $1 billion in appropriations. And the irony of this is that when the Senate came back with their plan that ended up going through, Ray Rawson voted to cut $200 million in appropriations from the appropriations package that Bob Beers voted for. So he's saying specifically what he thinks people want to hear to get elected. It's that simple. Cut and dry. Bob voted for $1 billion in appropriations, but he was smart enough in his eyes to say and do what he needs to do to get elected and didn't vote for any taxes. I'm going to start breathing in and out.
We will
Ray,
get
you want to get
in
in
touch
there?
with, we'll get in touch with Mr. Beers and let him have an opportunity to answer those charges.
Perhaps Bob is a one-trick pony, but he's a very popular one-trick pony. And what disappoints me with Senator Rawson is his giving up of his job, breaking solidarity with the other public employees. I wish that he would have shown more courage and stuck with it. It was an attorney general's opinion. It is not law yet, and I just wish he would have stayed with the other public employees. I may be in the minority, but I thought the majority of the public employees that serve as lawmakers in the legislatures do a great job.
Let me jump in there then and disagree with my friend Ray, because I think it shows a remarkable bit of courage for Senator Rawson to do that. And I'm particularly struck by the fact not only did he do that, but he is, financial economic courage as well. I mean, he did the right thing. He is continuing to teach his classes without charging the university for the community college.
He's on retirement of $100,000 and some odd thousand dollars a year.
No, it's not a year. If he had stuck around for 4 more years, it would have been $100 and something thousand a year. It's actually 50. It's 50.
It's 50,000.
So he took half of his retirement, which for the rest of his life will probably cost him $1 million because he felt like this was the right thing to do.
But isn't the arrangement that he can go back?
No. No, he is retired.
He's out of there.
Retired. He said repeatedly, that chapter of my life is closed. I'm opening a new one.
I wish he would have waited. That's all.
Well, he did, really come out and criticize the other people, which I thought was unfair. That when he came out with his statement, he was highly critical of those who kept their jobs and didn't resign like he did. And I thought that was unfair to take shots at the other public employees when he resigned.
I edited that speech. I don't know if that's really a fair statement. That wasn't the intent of it. He wrote that. He wrote the speech, and we just edited it here and there for verbiage and content and those kind of things. But I know that wasn't his intent.
I know that he did call Dina Titus and apologize, and has called a couple of other people and apologized.
He did say that he did say, if I recall correctly with the interview this morning, is that he admired the courage of the others. And I just wish he would have shown a little bit more himself.
Okay, let's talk about Condoleezza Rice's testimony this morning. Ray, do you think it was style over substance, or did we get both?
I saw very little of it, actually, but I think putting her up on that stage was a great thing for the president. She has had all week to practice telling the truth and From what I saw, she did a great job.
I think there's a lot of style over substance. I thought she did an excellent job in the way she handled the questions. I'm not sure she did such a great job in answering the questions as they were asked, but then when in front of any either congressional hearing or in this case a presidential commission, does one who's testifying ever answer the question? Most questions up there are asked that can be answered yes or no after you get through the 5-minute preface to the question, which states the political position of the person asking the question, and then likewise the person answering the question does the same thing.
And some of the commission members, in fact, took issue with her because they wanted a yes or no answer, and she insisted upon speaking a paragraph before she would ever say yes or no.
Because the questioner spoke a paragraph before he or she asked the question.
Right.
So it's one of those deals.
I never cease to be amazed at how intelligent and eloquent that lady is, and when she runs for president against Hillary Clinton, I will be there for her.
And too, the little back and forth with Bob
Ray,
Kerry
you
was
have
quite
10
amazing.
seconds to answer Sam's yesterday.
Well, Sam is just a student of history. I do think there are some parallels between the war in Iraq and the Vietnam War. Number one, what escalated the Vietnam War was a presidential lie about the Gulf of Tonkin. What got us into Iraq was a presidential lie about the weapons of mass destruction. In both wars, the people that we're fighting for are not really taking up arms and fighting for us. And one thing about Senator Kennedy's remark about this is Bush's Vietnam, Bill O'Reilly, conservative Bill O'Reilly, said the same thing.
Okay, Ray, we'll have you back. Okay, we'll discuss this further.
And Joe
I don't necessarily disagree with you.
I disagree.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, just want to welcome all of our viewers in Southern Nevada who have joined us on the show here. At least 10 of them by now.
And you don't want to miss Monday when we have Senator Harry Reid, and we're going to put some of these questions about Iraq to him.
Okay, we'll see you then. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for watching.